Let me ask you a direct question. Do you ever deal with digestive issues? I'm talking about that frustrating feeling of being backed up, constipation, bloating, or just a general lack of regularity. And do you also find yourself waking up at 2 or 3 a.m. with that urgent need to use the bathroom? What if I told you that these are not two separate problems? What if they are actually two different symptoms of the exact same root cause? This is the connection that 90% of men, and frankly many of their doctors, completely miss. We've been trained for years to believe that nighttime urination is purely a bladder issue or a prostate issue, so we focus all our attention there. We see urologists, we get the prostate checked, we try supplements, and we completely ignore the powerful, influential organ sitting right next door, your gut. Most men suffer from these two problems in silence, never dreaming they could be linked. Today we are going to change that. I am going to show you the undeniable mechanical link between your bowel health and your bladder control. I'll explain exactly how one is directly controlling the other, especially at night. And most importantly, I'm going to give you 3 simple, non-prescription strategies to address your gut health, and in doing so, help you finally reclaim your uninterrupted sleep starting tonight. This isn't about getting older. This is about getting smarter about how your body truly works. Alright, let's get right to it. The organ we're talking about? It's your gut, specifically your colon. Now, you're probably thinking, my gut? What on earth does my digestion have to do with how often I pee? It's a fair question. The answer is surprisingly simple, and it comes down to basic real estate. I want you to imagine your pelvic area is a small one-room apartment. It's a pretty crowded space. In this apartment, you have 2 main tenants living side by side, your bladder and your colon. They are immediate next-door neighbors, separated by a very thin wall. When everything is working perfectly, they coexist peacefully. But what happens when one neighbor, the colon, starts to get, let's say, cluttered and backed up? This is what we commonly call constipation. And for men over 50, it's incredibly common, even if it's just a mild, low-grade version you don't pay much attention to. When your colon is full and impacted with waste that hasn't been passed, it doesn't just sit there politely. It expands, it swells, it starts taking up more than its fair share of the space in that tiny apartment. And in doing so, it begins to push and press directly against its neighbor, your bladder. This constant physical pressure does 2 terrible things. First, it literally reduces the amount of space your bladder has to expand and fill with urine. So even a small amount of urine can make your bladder feel full. Second, this pressure constantly stimulates the nerve endings in your bladder wall, sending false alarm signals to your brain. Your brain gets a message that says, hey, bladder is full, time to go, even when it's only half full or even less. Let me tell you a quick story about a gentleman named Earl, a 68-year-old retired farmer from Iowa. Earl was the classic case. He'd wake up 2, sometimes 3 times a night. He figured it was just part of getting older, but it was really starting to wear him down. He'd tried cutting back on coffee, even tried some of those supplements he saw advertised, but nothing really helped. During a routine checkup, his doctor, a no-nonsense practical woman, asked him something unexpected. Earl, how regular are you with your bowels these days? Earl chuckled a bit and said, well, Doc, not as regular as the sunrise, that's for sure. Been that way for years on and off. Never thought much of it. The doctor explained how a sluggish digestive system can put pressure on the bladder and even contribute to inflammation. She suggested a few simple changes focused on getting his digestion back on track. Earl, always one to try a sensible solution, gave it a shot. And wouldn't you know it? Within a couple of weeks of focusing on more fiber and drinking enough water, Earl started sleeping through the night again. He said it was like a weight had been lifted, not just from his gut, but from his mind too. For Earl, The answer to those nighttime trips wasn't some fancy pill. It was tending to his inner garden, so to speak. But this physical pressure is only half the story. There's a deeper, more silent connection at play here, and that connection is inflammation. Let's go back to our apartment analogy. Imagine your colon isn't just a cluttered neighbor, it's an angry, inflamed neighbor. Maybe because of a poor diet, stress, or an imbalance of gut bacteria, the walls of the colon have become irritated and inflamed. When that happens, your gut doesn't keep the inflammation to itself. It's like an angry neighbor banging on the thin wall all day and night. That inflammation creates a hot zone in the pelvic area. The inflammatory signals and proteins can literally seep through and begin to irritate the surrounding tissues, including the prostate and the bladder. Scientists call this the gut-bladder axis or the gut-prostate axis. It's a recognized phenomenon. Chronic inflammation in the gut can directly fuel chronic inflammation in the prostate, a condition many of you know as chronic prostatitis or CPPS, chronic pelvic pain syndrome. So now your bladder is getting hit with a double whammy. It's being physically squeezed from the outside by a full colon, and it's being chemically irritated by the inflammation next door. Okay, so we've identified the problem. Now let's talk about simple, powerful solutions. And the first one might sound paradoxical. Solution number one is to focus on proper hydration and fiber. I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, you just told me I'm peeing too much and now you want me to drink more water? Yes, but it's about how and when you drink it. Your gut absolutely needs water to function. Without enough water, the waste in your colon becomes hard, dry, and difficult to pass. That's the very definition of constipation. The key is to front-load your hydration. Drink plenty of water throughout the morning and afternoon. Don't just sip, have a full glass every hour or two. This gives your body, and especially your gut, the hydration it needs to keep things moving smoothly. Then, about 2 to 3 hours before bed, you stop. This way, your gut is happy, but your bladder isn't overloaded right when you go to sleep. Furthermore, when you're dehydrated, your urine becomes highly concentrated. This dark, concentrated urine is a known bladder irritant. It can actually make your bladder more spastic and urgent. So, staying hydrated with pale, diluted urine is actually calming to your bladder. Now, for the second part of this solution, fiber. Fiber is the broom that sweeps your colon clean. There are two types, and you need both. Soluble fiber. Think of this as a sponge. It dissolves in water to form a gel-like substance. It helps soften your stool so it can pass easily. Great sources are oats, barley, apples, carrots, and especially chia seeds and ground flax seeds. Insoluble fiber. Think of this as a broom. It doesn't dissolve. It adds bulk to your stool and helps sweep everything through your digestive tract. You find this in whole grains, nuts, beans, and vegetables like cauliflower and green beans. You don't need to get complicated. Here is a simple, actionable step. Start by adding 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed or chia seeds to your daily routine. You can mix it into oatmeal, yogurt, a smoothie, or even just a glass of water. It's a tiny change that provides a massive boost of both soluble and insoluble fiber to get things moving. Now for my second solution. This one is a true game changer. It's a simple biohack that costs nothing and can instantly improve your ability to fully empty your bowels, relieving that pressure we talked about. I'm talking about changing your posture on the toilet. This might sound strange, but it's based on pure human anatomy. For thousands of years, humans didn't sit on porcelain thrones. They squatted. Our bodies are biologically designed to eliminate waste in a squatting position. Here's why. There's a muscle called the puborectalis muscle. It loops around your rectum like a sling. When you're standing or sitting, this muscle is tight, and it creates a kink in your colon. This kink is a natural continence mechanism. It helps you hold it in. But when you sit on a standard toilet at a 90-degree angle, that muscle only partially relaxes. The kink remains. This means you have to push and strain, and you often don't empty your colon completely. That leftover waste is what builds up and presses on your bladder. The solution? Mimic a squat. You don't need to go dig a hole in the backyard. All you need to do is get your feet up. Find a small bathroom stool, a couple of old yoga blocks, or even a stack of thick books. Place it in front of your toilet. When you sit down to go, put your feet up on the stool. This raises your knees above your hips, changing your posture from a 90-degree angle to a more natural 35-degree angle. The moment you do this, that puborectalis muscle fully relaxes. The kink in your colon straightens out completely. The pathway is now clear and straight. This allows for a faster, easier, and most importantly, a more complete evacuation without straining. This one simple change can mean the difference between leaving waste behind to press on your bladder all day and actually getting it all out, freeing up that precious space in your pelvic region. It's a free trick that can have a profound impact. My final solution is about creating a simple morning routine to set your digestive system up for success for the entire day. It takes less than 10 minutes. First, the warm water kickstart. As soon as you wake up, before you have your coffee, before you eat breakfast, drink a large glass of warm or room temperature water. You can add a squeeze of lemon if you like. Think of this as a gentle, hydrating wake-up call for your internal organs. It helps to lubricate your digestive system and signals to your colon that it's time to get things moving from the night before. Second, gentle movement. You don't need to go for a 5-mile run. Just 5 minutes of gentle movement can work wonders for stimulating peristalsis. That's the wave-like muscle contractions that move food through your digestive tract. This could be a simple walk around your house or apartment while the coffee brews, or you could do some gentle torso twists, just rotating your upper body from side to side. You could even lie on your back and gently bring your knees to your chest, one at a time. The goal is just to gently move your core and abdomen to help wake up your gut. This 2-step routine, warm water followed by gentle movement, can help you establish a regular, predictable morning bowel movement, which is the ultimate goal. It ensures you start your day with an empty colon, relieving that pressure on your bladder from the very beginning. All right, guys, let's bring it all together. We've learned today that those frustrating 2 a.m. bathroom trips may have less to do with your bladder and more to do with your gut than you ever imagined. We learned about the double whammy, the mechanical pressure from a backed-up colon squeezing your bladder and the chemical irritation from chronic inflammation next door, and we covered 3 simple, powerful strategies you can start using immediately. Solution number 1. Smart hydration and the fiber fix. Drink water early in the day. Add 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed or chia seeds. Solution number 2, the bathroom secret. Elevate your feet on the toilet to mimic a natural squat. This helps you empty more completely. Solution number 3, the morning kickstart. Start with warm water, then do 5 minutes of gentle movement to support regularity. This isn't about a miracle cure. It's about understanding how the systems in your body are interconnected. It's about making small, intelligent changes that create a cascade of positive effects. By taking care of your gut, you are directly taking care of your bladder and your prostate. You have the power to break this cycle of sleepless nights. You don't have to accept it as just a part of getting older. So now, I have a question for you, and I genuinely want to know your answer. Was this connection between your gut health and your bladder something you had ever considered before watching this video? Please let me know in the comment section below. I read them all, and your feed, your stories, and your questions are what build this community and help us all learn together. Thank you for investing this time in your health today. You've taken a huge step. Thousands of seniors have found this video helpful, so I highly recommend you watch it. Click to keep going.